Welcome back to In Your Neighborhood. You know, they say there are some things that you just have to see to believe. And I think it's fair to say that Bill's old bike barn in Bloomsburg is one of them. On Route 11 between Berwick and Bloomsburg, you'll find two dinosaurs standing guard over the entrance to Bill's old bike barn. William Morris, better known as Bill, makes his living selling motorcycle parts from his shop in Bloomsburg.
Well, I own Bill's Custom Cycles, and I bought out a lot of Harley dealers through our years, and we have a mail order business, and plus we have a lot of people from all over the world come and do business at our shop.
A motorcycle enthusiast, Bill started collecting bikes.
Had everything in the shop, but then we ran out of room, so I had to either maybe sell it or do something with it. So I decided, well, we'll start like a little museum thing. And that was the beginning.
Bill's old bike barn opened in 1999 with this one room. About how many square feet is this?
About 2,500.
And you thought that was going to be big enough, didn't you?
Well, I'll tell you what, when this room was empty, it looked gigantic.
Yeah.
It really did.
Oh, I'll bet.
It was so weird. This room looked so big, and then we started putting the stuff in, and all of a sudden the room got like
really small.
Really little quick.
The very next year, they added more space.
And we put another 100-foot room on, then we put another 70-foot room on, and then we just put another 200-foot building up all together. So we got around 45,000 square feet now.
There are about 170 motorcycles alone in the museum.
And they're all good ones.
Yeah. Well, and they're all in amazing shape. This is
Yes.
not like a collection of kind of half rusted out, sort of. I mean, these are all really nice, in good shape.
Well, when we bring them in, we try to have them done, the motor done, because if you bring it in and it's not done, how are you going to do it 20 years from now? So you want to have everything done, because if it's hard right now, could you imagine how hard it's going to be in another 20 years?
Bill gives Balzer Pizak of Hazleton much of the credit for his bike collection.
He was the Harley dealer in Hazleton, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And I bought him out in 1970. And then after he was in his 50s then, and then he just helped me until he was in his almost 90.
Wow,
so
that's great.
I kept him busy.
Many of the displays in Bill's museum are Pizak's handiwork. This was the last bike he worked on for the museum before he passed away in 2007. Oh, is this what it looked like when you got it?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. And he redid that all?
Yep. He was the master.
Really?
He was my hero. That was the only time I ever had a picture with him. So.
Oh, wow. That's very cool. But how cool that you got to spend that much time with him too.
Right, right.
And to, benefit of his years of experience.
But he's everywhere in this building. I mean, there's so many things he did for me that he's everywhere. So that makes me feel so much better about the place.
Right. Well, and is it fair to say you wouldn't necessarily have had all of this if it wasn't for him in the first place?
Well, that's for sure.
So that's a cool testament.
And he taught me a, collecting thing too.
Did he?
Because he was good.
In addition to Harleys, Bill's collection includes a wide range of European bikes like Peugeot, Triumph, and BMW. His business connections have helped him add these interesting pieces to the museum.
Well, a lot of the Europeans came to my shop to do business through my time in business, and then when I started the museum, they all started saying, well, why don't you come to our country and we'll help you get things that you're not going to have in your country, and it'll make it more interesting for your museum. So I started going to Europe, and I brought 6 containers of motorcycles and various other things back from Europe.
Those various other things included a huge collection of carousel horses.
I met this guy in Antwerp, Belgium, and he had these Disney characters like Popeye and Olive and Dumbo and Donald Duck, and I wanted to buy those, and he wanted a really lot of money for those. And then my friend said to him, we'll sell Bill all the carousel stuff, and he can sell what he don't want. So 300 horses later, I owned all the carousel stuff he had, and it's been really good. I've sold off some, and it helped with the price of what we paid for everything. And it gives people a chance to see some great stuff.
Fair to say there is a whole lot more here than, if you are not necessarily a huge motorcycle enthusiast, there's a whole lot more here than just that.
There sure is.
Bill gave us a tour of the museum and pointed out a few of his favorite pieces along the way.
Here's a real cool piece right here.
Wow.
This is solid silver, solid gold cables and chains, Cartier diamonds in the pedals.
Oh my goodness.
It's a commemorative for the 1903 Harley.
Wow. It's a Harley with pedals.
Mm-hmm. Well, they had pedals in the beginning.
I don't know diddly about bikes. I think I'm gonna get a lesson here real quick. Everywhere you look, there's something to see. This is before it was completely full, Aston. Check out that shot.
Yep. Easy
That
Rider
room-
magazine did that one.
That room does
2003.
All right, well, there's 10
10
years
years.
ago. Now you know what you got after 10 years.
And look at that room. It's empty.
I know, it looks sparse. Now, are the things that have been added in there, is some of it because you've added to the collection, or was it just, oh, now I have the room, so you moved it in from somewhere else?
Adding. I'm
You
always
just
adding.
add.
I add it daily.
Do you really?
Yep.
That's great.
Every day. I have so many people trying to sell to me or donate to me that if I had as many people buying from me as I have people trying to sell to me, I'd be doing really well.
Much of the museum is filled with unique pieces.
This is a 1.5 ton dump truck,
That's hilarious.
and it's not something that somebody made. It's real. It came from Italy, and they used them as little construction vehicles. It's got a 3-stage boom to the box.
Oh, look at that. The frame is good.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. When was this built?
It's in the 60s, 62.
Oh my goodness.
As far as we know, there's only one other one in the United States.
They both
Here's
have
a
goofy laugh.
Here's a 1913 Harley. This was my first early bike that I had, and I built the showcase for it and everything and put it in the showcase. This is a 1913. See, this has got the pedals on.
Oh, it does.
So
Yep.
you pedal it, and then you start letting the belt a little more tension, and then the motor starts turning. Then once the motor fires, then you pull back tighter on the belt, and then the motor will take over, and you won't have to pedal then.
Oh, okay.
But that was the idea of the pedals, because they didn't even have a transmission.
So this was just kind of to get it going, get everything moving. Okay.
There was no transmission, just the belt.
So interesting. I'm learning very much about bikes right now. Bill put a lot of thought into the design of the museum.
It's very interesting because you can go upstairs, you can walk all the way around the whole building, back down into the new part, and it's awesome.
There are themed display cases on both floors that Bill has put together himself.
Here's a really cool window here, the Michelin window. This little air compressor was made in 1936 by Michelin, and it was used as a promotional thing. It looks like he's got a cigar there, but that's actually the air hose coming out of his mouth. And his body is the air tank.
Many items in the museum have special significance for Bill, like this 1853 model of the USS Susquehanna.
This came out of an old guy's collection in Long Island, New York. And my friend got it, and they were taking it to North Dakota. They were going to have some exotic auction. And he stopped to see me, and mistake he made stopping here. Then I had to go in his truck and look at all his stuff.
Right.
But when I saw this ship, and I always wanted one of these, and then when I saw it said the Susquehanna, I said, you can't take that to North Dakota. I said, it should stay here. I said, right there's the Susquehanna right across the road. It is so beautiful. Could you imagine the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours that was put into that?
Now it's got a great home and people can see it.
But just the idea that it was the Susquehanna, to me, means a lot.
Bill's motivation in creating the museum was to preserve history and give people the opportunity to see his incredible collection.
And it gives people a chance to go back in time. You walking around in here, everything around you makes you feel pretty good because everything around you is a lot older than you are.
The Barber Shop in Billville is a great example of why Bill does what he does.
The little barber shop, it was actually a guy's barber shop. He was he went into the barber business in the early 50s, and he had, then when I was getting ready to do my little town, I said, he came into my shop, and he's like in his 80s now, and he came in the shop, and I said, his name was Eldy, we called him Eldy, and I said, Eldy, what do you do with your barber stuff? He says, it's down in the barn. Why? I said, well, I want to build a barber shop, I said, and if you want to make a deal, I said, I'll come over and do something. So he said, well, come on over. So I went over, and I got all of his stuff that he had in his barber shop, and when I built my little shop, I put his name on the door, his Eldon Clemens, proprietor, and the Quakate Barber Shop, and I even have his barber license with his picture on in 1952 when he went into business. And so after I got it done, my buddy brought him down, and he just lost it. He was like,
that's amazing.
He was speechless.
Yeah. Instead of being lost, Mr. Clemens' shop is preserved for posterity in Billville.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's like open up the door and there you are, you're in business.
And this is like, you know, unlike every other museum you've been in, you can go in and play.
You know what this is?
It looks like a curry comb. I don't know what
this
it
was
is.
just to do his flat tops.
Oh my goodness!
And it has a level on, so you can keep, so make
Sit
sure
down,
that it's nice.
We're doing your hair.
Isn't that cool?
That is,
and look, he even had his name engraved on it.
Eldon Clemens.
There's his picture of his barber license from back in the 50s.
That's fantastic.
It is. And it's this guy's life.
Yeah.
This is his life right in this room. That's what I love about this. Once something that's took a lifetime to put together, and it gets dissolved in a couple hours. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah. Well, and this is, I mean, you do that for other people, and you know this will be here. You know, I mean, no one's taking this down.
Well, I hope so. We're trying. That's why we're hoping that enough people will come to support it, to keep it going, because the people that come are the ones that's going to determine whether it keeps going.
It's obvious that Bill is passionate about preserving these little slices of history.
A pile of money this high don't make me happy. Seeing this stuff makes me happy.
Once you've investigated the first 2 rooms of Bill's old bike barn, you pass into what is affectionately known as Billville, a town of Bill's creation. The idea came after he picked up a bar from the 1939 World's Fair.
I had my slot machine collection and the World's Fair bar, and so I said, well, let's build like a hotel, and we'll put the bar and everything in there and make a nice hotel. So we built that. So then here's the hotel standing out there like a sore thumb. And I said, you know, we should build other little houses around it. So then we built the mansion, and it kept right on going, you know, and more buildings. The post office.
Yeah.
And like I said, now that we got our post office, we should check on getting a zip code.
We need to talk to somebody about that. The hotel makes the niftiest office I've ever seen. This is just so cool in here. I seriously would never, ever, ever leave. I would sit here all day, all night. I would bring my laptop in here, I would hook up Wi-Fi, and I would live in this room.
This beats going to Atlantic City because I got the keys. I can come in here and be crazy for a couple hours, and then I can open up the backs and I get my money back.
There you go, you're always a winner. Right next to the hotel is a collection of souvenirs from the 1939 World's Fair.
Well, see, I was born in '39, so I'm 30. That's why I do the '39 World's Fair stuff. They introduced television in 1939, and this was one of the 17 televisions that was sold at the fair in '39.
No way, look at that.
And it works.
Screen. Does it really? Bill has collected more than 10,000 license plates over the years, but 3 from the World's Fair are particularly special.
They started putting it together in end of '38, then it ran all of '39 and shortly into 40.
Right.
So there's 3 license plates that are made for the that say World's Fair on.
Oh, cool.
Like here's a '39, and there's a 40.
Look at that.
And I think I got 38. See, so I got all 3 license plates. That's pretty cool.
The mansion boasts ironwork brought over from Europe. Ironwork
all
on
the
these.
iron that you see, the porch rails and the doors and windows, they all came out of a castle in Antwerp, Belgium. And they actually, there's a lot of castles in Europe, and when they get into very bad condition, same thing in this country, you don't fix anything anymore. So actually they're dismantling a lot of them and scrapping them out, and this guy had all the iron that was at the castle when they destroyed it.
Oh wow.
And then I bought all the iron off him. I brought 31 ton of it back. We started decorating the museum with it, and
Yeah.
so it's beautiful.
So you built the whole mansion based on that ironwork. No matter what your interest, there's a shop in Billville to suit you. From trains to cameras. Bill's Old Bike Barn is a hot spot with enthusiast groups.
Camera clubs came here and did things. It was really cool because you have like 35 or 40 people, and every place you look, there's tripods all set up, and they're all taking pictures. They're really cool. They're nice people. Well, we get all the car clubs come from down Harrisburg and down Reading, and the Corvette clubs and the Studebaker clubs, and I have the Hudson Club. They're here every September, so they come and have a banquet dinner.
It seems Billville has everything. And there are even working street lamps in here. I just noticed those just now.
We gotta have street lamps. What kind of town is that without a street lamp?
And here's the post office. My children would never come out of this post office. They would think that is the coolest thing ever.
See the names on the people's boxes
Look
inside?
at that. Now tell me, where did this come from again?
Ludlow, Ohio.
Ludlow, Ohio. It's
Right
the
out
actual
near
post
the
office.
Indiana line.
It's just almost more than you can take in at one time. He's got a bar and a restaurant. You have a pretty nice life, let me tell you what. This is very cool. The restaurant is a piece of local history. And you said this bar, is it the front and the back all came from the Berwick Hotel?
Yeah, It's all solid cherry.
Beautiful. And to think that was going to get trashed?
Yeah.
The mirrors as well, everything, that was all of a piece?
Yeah.
That's glorious. Further down the street is a Coca-Cola shop, a Fix-It shop, and what town would be complete without a fire station? The shoe repair shop once belonged to Chet Capone of Mahanoy City. Boy, you've got everything from like the little and all the
stretchers and
all the
hundreds of shoelaces, all his shoelace display.
Look at that. All these little drawers full of little tiny things that apparently you need to fix shoes that I didn't know you needed.
This is this guy's life in this room. And you know where this was going if I wouldn't have bought it. It was going to the scrap heap. Look, you can imagine that nice heavy iron there. That would have went great.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, here's all of his stuff, all of his supplies, his heels. All those are all. They all got heels in the boxes.
They're all heels.
Yep, they're all heels for shoes.
The display is so cool. This must have been so much fun to put together for you.
I love this room. Of
course, Bill even crafted a bike.
And I made a bike for him.
Oh,
Shuster.
Look at that with the. I didn't even see that. I mean, I saw the bike, but I didn't look carefully enough to realize.
We call it the Shuster. The shoemaker has to have a bike. He's in a biker town.
Yep.
So what more fitting than a bike with shoes? And it's 10 shoe power.
Oh my word, that is.
Hey, that bike got more sold than most of them.
And Billville is still growing. And what's going to go over there yet?
Well,
do you know?
we're talking about a clock shop and a print shop, like a little newspaper or printing. And then up on the top there, we're going to have a doll display. I got about 500 dolls.
Between Bill's custom cycles and the old bike barn, Bill Morris keeps 8 employees very busy. His goal is to continue to grow the museum and bring in more people to experience his collection.
I know that if I'm going to make it go, I have to have a lot of people come, and that's what we depend on, is the people coming, and when people come, then they tell other people, and all of a sudden and every year we've been here since '99, and every year's been twice as good as every year's been ever since. And last year was very busy. We had a really great year last year, and I'm hoping that this year will be like the others.
It only costs $5 to visit, and the old bike barn is open 4 days a week.
Thursday and Friday, 10 to 6, and Saturday, 9:30 to 3, and then I'm open Sunday afternoons, 1 to 5.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but I'm not even sure our shots are good enough.
If it looks that good in pictures, it's got to be better.
Right, believe me, our pictures of this do not do it justice. You need to come and see this, because there's no way we can capture all of this even with a video camera.
I guarantee that you'll want to come back again and again. And rest assured, there will always be something new to see.
You never have enough stuff.
A great big thank you to all the folks at Bill's Old Bike Barn for being so generous with their time. If you would like more information, you can visit them online at www.billsbikebarn.com. Well, that does it for this episode of In Your Neighborhood. When you're online, be sure to check us out on Facebook, visit our YouTube channel, or you can even hit us up on Twitter, and you can see previous episodes at ccnnews8.com. I'm your host, Jennifer Wakeman. Thanks for watching.